Hey folks, Eric the Old Jarhead here. I thought I would take a little bit of time to talk about making cants and the process that I go through to make a cant. So obviously the first step is to get the log on the deck, and then once on the deck, I've got to roll it around a little bit and watch as I'm doing that so that I can see that the bend in the log is going to sit horizontally on the deck. We call that hooks to the right. That means that if the log bends, the ends of the log will kind of bend to one side, and we call that hooks. So hooks to the right, that gives me horizontal stress. Once I've rolled it around, and I've got that log situated where I like it, where I can see the stress is horizontal, then I'm going to go ahead and clamp it into position and check the pith. Now this is the next crucial step to making a good cant on the sawmill. You want to go out and measure the pith somewhere that you can measure both ends off of. Now you can't always do that off the bunk, so I'm doing it off the frame. It doesn't really matter where you do it as long as you can get a consistent reading. So I check one side, maybe it's 10 inches. I go to the other side, maybe it's only 8 inches. Come back and I'll raise a toe board to make sure that that center of the log, the pith, is nice and even on both ends so that it's level across the deck. Then I run the mill down, check the center height, come back, drop it 1.5 inches, and away we go. Dropping 1.5 inches is going to give me that opening face, and I may adjust that to 1 inch or to 2, depending on the size of the logs and the thickness of the bark. But once I've done that and I've checked that center, that's the average height of the log from the big end to the small end. And that's why when I do that and I come back and I drop it, I know I'm going to get a good opening face on both ends. So as long as I get a good opening face, all I've got to do is unclamp the log, roll her up 90 degrees into the side supports. Flat against the side supports is going to give me a nice perpendicular cut from here. So I'll just clamp it down. And then usually what I'll do is I'll run the mill down to the other end. Now, sometimes, like you see me doing here, I could tell already that my opening cut's going to be good where I'm at because I just did it a few minutes earlier. So logs are pretty consistent. I can say, yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll just drop her right here to the same height. Maybe it was 10 inches or something like that. Dump that cap cut off. And then I come back. Now I've got a nice perpendicular cut, nice 90-degree face. If that opening face is good, I just unclamp it, roll it again, and remember to drop the toe boards. That's important. Get it clamped up again. And so now I have two faces here. The stress went from horizontal to vertical. Now it's back to horizontal. Check the center of the log, come back, drop 1.5 inches, and away we go. We make another cap cut. It's a pretty simple, straightforward process. It's very quick, and I think that's one of the things that as a production sawyer you do. You're trying to get the cant as quickly as you can, a nice square cant for the customer so that you can mill what you need. So by doing it this way, I'm making my third opening face. I know now that my stress is horizontal again, and once I make that cap cut, because now I'm working to a specific size cant, maybe I'm trying to make 1x6s or 1x8s. Since I know I'm on the third face and I've gone from horizontal, vertical, back to horizontal stress, knowing that I have horizontal stress, I can look at this cant and decide this is going to be my width. Even though I'm cutting at a height, when you think about it, right? I'm going to drop the head down to 10 inches and it's 10 inches in depth. I'm really thinking of this as width at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and make that cut, and I can make a flitch cut here and start to work down to what width I want, maybe a couple of them, as I did in this case. I went ahead and took the cap cut, made a flitch cut, made another flitch cut, and all I'm doing is I'm trying to both get to a specific width on the cant, as well as make sure that I don't have too much wane on either side. I want to try to minimize the wane on the final cant. And you'll notice that my cant is a little uneven. I've got a wider face on top and a narrower one on the bottom. And that's okay, we're gonna fix that. So now all I gotta do is roll her back up again. We're now working on the fourth face. Now this face is going to be my height of the cant. Height meaning it's where I'm gonna want it to be when I start on the simple set and just cut it down. We're going to go in, and again, I've determined a good place to start from already from previous measurements in the center of the log. And I can go ahead and make that cap cut. All right, so we made that cap cut. That gives me a height, but I still had some wane. I go ahead and I roll the CANT 90 degrees and go back to working in a width that's going to work for this customer. And I left it a bit deep earlier, even though I knew I was working on width, but I saw some wane underneath. And I thought, okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and roll it again and take that wane out. And you just can't always see it really clearly when you're milling, and that's okay. So I went ahead and took another cut out of it. Now we're gonna roll it up again. And again, I'd already set a height on the CANT, so I've got a good width here. Once you get your height set and your width is set, you've got all the wane off that you can get off, it's just a simple matter of setting the simple set. And of course I kind of goofed right there, and that's why you see the pause. I forgot to set the simple set after that first cut, but we fixed that and away we go. And that's really all there is to it. The key is paying attention to where the stress is, and when you get to the point that you've got horizontal stress on that third cut, again it goes horizontal, vertical, horizontal, you just decide then, am I going to leave crowns or face bends? And if you're going to leave face bends, you're setting your width because the stress is horizontal. If you're going to leave crowns, you're setting your height, again, because the stress is horizontal. So it's just a matter of kind of playing around a little bit and paying attention to the stress and planning out after those cap cuts. That first cap cut is pretty simple. The second one's pretty simple, but that third cap cut that you make, you've got to start thinking about where you're going to leave your width or your height in your CANT and work to that so that you don't have to take kind of a little skim out later on. You know, sometimes that happens, or sometimes you're going to try to avoid the hard, and that's okay. But that's all there really is to it. Hopefully that helped somebody out. You know, I think one of the big challenges with starting to run a sawmill is just kind of learning how to take that round log that's big on one end and small on the other and turn that into a CANT that you can then mill down to boards. This is a simple way to do it. I hope it works for you. And as always, folks, if you enjoy what you see, if you'd like to share that content, it's always appreciated. And don't forget to hit that like button. Help spread these videos around. And if you haven't subscribed, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, everybody. The old Jarhead out.